Johnson heads to the pocket. Layup. Johnson, good!
All right, welcome everybody. It's another episode of Talkin Sports with me, Chris Powers, as we get ready for the final week of regular season. I mean, are you kidding me? Of football, of college football. It's crazy. It seems like we just started with week 0, and now all of a sudden we are at the final week of the regular season. Absolutely incredible, man. This is absolutely incredible. The fall has always flown by for me, and all the days I played football and this and that and this. But now it seems like, I guess, the older I get, the faster it flies. And I mean, it has flown by like you would not believe. But we're into the end of it. Southern. So next week, think about that. Next week is going to be probably the big week for college football at Baton Rouge. We're probably going to get a Southern coach announced, and we're probably going to get an LSU coach announced all next week. So there'll be 2 big press conferences in Baton Rouge next week. We start with the first one, LSU. Will it be Lane Kiffin? Is Lane Kiffin going to troll Ole Miss? I personally think he's coming. I do. All the signs are pointing that he's coming. Unless this is an opportunity for them to say, no, I picked Ole Miss over Florida and LSU because I have a better job here. I don't think it is. Because at at Ole Miss can get offensive players to come. The problem is defensive players. They're not coming to see Lane Kiffin. They're not. And this is the best chance for them to win the national title this year. This is the best they've ever been. The problem is they have no defense. That defense is not going to win a national title. It's not. So for them winning a national title this year, they're not. This is probably the best Ole Miss is ever going to be right here. This is it. And in a way, I don't see it. If I had to pick between, if Ole Miss and Indiana played each other, I'd probably vote for Ole Miss because I think Indiana, I still remember last year where Indiana got thrown around like a rag doll. And I don't think that changes in a week. I mean, in a season. I don't think they can just like that snap their fingers and be strong again. Last year they got pushed around. It was not even funny. Not even the final score indicated it. It was also on the field in the trenches. They got killed last year. And if I had to put between Ole Miss and Indiana right now to play in round 1, I'd say Ole Miss wins that game. But there's no doubt that if Lane Kiffin announces this Saturday that he is going to LSU, he will not coach the playoffs. He will not coach in the playoffs. If they win this Saturday, or Friday rather, in the Egg Bowl, they're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be in the playoffs. Question is, though, again, will the distraction get them? We'll find out later on, and we'll have them as one of the pick-em segments on our show. So let's talk about Lane Kiffin being the LSU. LSU fans, I've talked to a bunch of LSU fans in the last couple of weeks. A lot of them want Lane Kiffin. A lot of them. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Am I missing something? And Heather Detteridge from ESPN, who, by the way, is also very good at the college football playoff committee, she's right there always, knows the insights and all that stuff, says the same thing. Am I missing something with Lane Kiffin? Am I missing something? So let's dive into the numbers. And again, I'll go back to the Brian Kelly thing. I'm hearing more and more stories about Brian Kelly that maybe think that, okay, well, maybe it is not bad that he's gone. However, some of those stories are not true. And I know I got a way to prove it. But I'm just trying to think right now on the difference between Lane Kiffin and Brian Kelly. Let's take a look at it. Lane Kiffin's overall record is 115-53 in college. That's 68% winning percentage. Brian Kelly, 313-108. That's a 74% winning percentage. Lane Kiffin's record versus the top 25. Oh, this is where we'll get him. This is why we want him in LSU. He's 13-25. 34%. He is 34% of his games in top 25. 13 for 25. 13 wins, 25 losses. Brian Kelly, His top 25, I know 5 and 10 at LSU, but overall his college career 33-31, 52%. Not great either, but 33 and 31. So Brian Kelly is better right there than Lane Kiffin in the top 25, and so is overall record. Lane Kiffin's championships, 2 Conference USA titles, 2, while at Florida Atlantic. Brian Kelly won 2 Division II national championships, 01 and 02 at Grand Valley State, and the SEC West in 2022, his first year at LSU. Lane Kiffin's bowl record. This is where we're going to get him. He's got to be successful in bowl games, right? He's 5-4 in bowl games. 5-4. That's 56%. Kelly was 10-6 in bowl games, 63%, and he was 3-0 at LSU. Lane Kiffin has Ole Miss ready for the playoffs right now. The question is, 1, will he be there? And 2, is this the best they're going to do? I think it's the best they're going to do. I don't think they're ever going to get an opportunity to win a national title because you have to have defense. Look at LSU. Offense was unbelievable in the first part of the season, and their defense got better and better and better and as the season went on. That's the same thing in 03 when they won the national title. I remember the Georgia coaches. I was covering LSU. I remember the Georgia coaches saying they couldn't believe how much faster LSU got between when they played them in Tiger Stadium and LSU barely won that game to when they played them in the SEC championships in the Atlanta, Georgia Dome, and LSU looked night and day. Night and day. So Lane Kiffin has never made the playoffs. Brian Kelly's made it twice. Again, I'm trying to get the difference here. If y'all say that Brian Kelly wasn't good enough, that Lane Kiffin's the answer, I'm trying to get it, and I don't see it so far. No one's telling me any different. Now, offense, yeah, he's better in offense, but what about the whole football team? Because you're the CEO of the whole team. I don't care. Offense is great, and I want a new offense here. There's no question. I'm trying to get why y'all think Lane Kiffin is better than Brian Kelly. I'm trying to reach that in my head. Governor Landry said, we're not going to pay a coach that much money no more. Never. That's stupid. And Woodward's gone. I don't know if he forced Woodward out behind the scenes, but Woodward quit. My question, so we're not going to pay that anymore. But yet, where it is, they're offering Lane Kiffin $98 million for 7 years. That's $14 million a year. That's the highest paid coach in college football. And they've got to pay his buyout, which is only $4 million. But we're not going to – wait, you just said, Governor, that we're not going to pay that anymore. What's the – I mean, what? Help me explain this. And like Heather Ditterich said, has Lane Kiffin won a national championship for $14 million a year, the highest paid coach? Has he won a national title? I can understand, let's say, okay, let's say we get him, but he hadn't earned $14 million a year. He hadn't earned it. Why are we going to give a guy who has not won a national title $14 million a year? Everybody's scratching their head at LSU. What are y'all doing? Are you kidding me? This guy hadn't won a national title anywhere. He's not Nick Saban that won a title at LSU and then came back and then went to Alabama. That's not him. Wait, did he win an SEC championship? No. Oh, he won the Super Bowl when he was at the Raiders. Hell no. He was horrible. At USC, remember, he got fired on the tarmac when they got back home. Well, I think they were 2-3, 3-2. He got fired after 5 games. Now, if he gets fired without cause, Lane Kiffin gets $36.6 million. If he doesn't, if he decides to go to another team, $4 million. That's not bad. $4 million payout, which not bad to them. To us, it'd be a lifetime. $4 million. So I want to go back, and what I'm saying is that this young man put on one of the LSU sites, and I want to go back and read it right now. And I apologize. I should have had this pulled up. My bad. He's basically saying what I'm saying. What I'm saying right now, this is what this guy said. And it's everything that you look at and you go, well, that's exactly what I've been saying for the longest time here. Here we go. My bad. All right, here we go. This is what he wrote. We've done this for years. Fire a coach too fast. Expect the next one to magically fix everything. Trash other SEC programs while trying to steal their coaches. Turn on our own players when things get tough. LSU has always been a great every 5-year program with solid seasons in between. That's not a failure. That's just reality in the modern SEC, where half the conference is capable of beating anybody on any given Saturday. We need to chill out, be realistic, and support whoever comes in next. We're already here. The firing is done. The chaos is happening. So at least we can do is pick the right coach this time and stick with him long enough to actually build something. We don't have to act together. LSU's just trying to stay on the roller coaster forever. At some point, the fan base is going to look in the mirror and say, what are we doing? This is not working. This is not working. So we look at LSU with Brian Kelly at 5-3. The losses. Number 13, Ole Miss, who's now in the top 10. We should have won that game. Number 17, Vanderbilt, one of their best seasons they're having ever. And number 3, Texas A&M, undefeated and rolling still right now. Those are the 3 losses, and Brian Kelly doesn't even know. He's gone. But he was 5-3. He wasn't 3-5. He wasn't 0-8. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say Brian Kelly did everything right, and I'll tell you about that just in a minute. What I'm saying is, why would y'all freak out and fire a guy after 8 games? That's not a great start, this guy writes, but it's also not apocalyptic disaster that calls for a firing of a coach in the middle of the season. That's the right way to do things, and that wasn't it. If he truly felt he wasn't the guy, we should have finished the season, handled it professionally, and made a clean change. Or hell, even give him another year or 2 to see if the foundation would be laid off. But instead, we reacted like spoiled children because we weren't undefeated in November. Then, as if it wasn't enough, LSU wouldn't even let him walk out on the field. We'll talk about that in a minute, for his son's senior night. Wouldn't let him walk out. Wouldn't let him walk out. This is a PR disaster for LSU. First the governor, then the debacle with Verge Osbury, and now the debacle, well, no, he wasn't fired. Woodward didn't have an authority to do that. What AD in the nation doesn't have the authority to fire their coach? What AD doesn't have that authority? This is what this guy wrote on, again, Tiger Nation. So my deal for you is this, and as I'm looking at it right now, there have been some stuff out there. There have been bad stories all out about Brian Kelly. Didn't get along with alumni. Hogwash. Because I actually seen several pictures of him doing alumni things. He was at every event. Every event he was at. I've seen pictures of it. I know a couple of people that posted those pictures, and he was there. He took pictures with all of them. He was at the alumni. Now, whether he didn't get along with some of them, I don't know. Wasn't a part of the culture. When did Nick Saban do that? When did Skip Bertman do that? He did have crawfish bowls at his house for the players. Jerk at the media. He was a jerk one time. One time he was a jerk with the media. And Mike Cobble at WBRZ. And he apologized for it to Michael, texted him that night, and then he also went back on the air and said it. I was sorry. At Notre Dame, 7 times he had wins in double digits out of 12 seasons. 7 out of 12. Now, here's the problems that he had here. He made horrible coaching decisions. Sloan, offensive coordinator. Now, for some reason, now, I know one of the reasons he developed Jaden Daniels, he said. Jaden Daniels just massively turned around quickly. So, and Sloan had a big part of this. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. One person is reporting this. T-Bob Hebert said that Sloan was going to be the co-offensive coordinator, and that's why our offensive coordinator left. Denbrock left and went back to Notre Dame. Don't know if that's true or not. Corey Raymond, He fired Corey Raymond. Corey Raymond's a good defensive backs coach, and he is a very good recruiter. We rehired Corey Raymond back. Matt House is defensive coordinator. Didn't work out. Then Blaine Baker comes in, and that works out big time. So right there, there's two coaches. If I'm the coach coming in, there's two coaches I say I want to keep. Corey Raymond and Blake Baker. And the third one is Frank Wilson. Because not only Frank Wilson, I don't know how good of a running back coach he is, but he's a hell of a recruiting coordinator. And he recruits the hell out of New Orleans. I'd keep him big time. The problem also that he made, he fired Tommy Moffitt just like that. And you could see the old LSU in A&M right now. A&M has never had that. To be that physical. I remember in the Les Miles days, Alabama players were like, oh, my God. We just played an unbelievable opponent. We won, but Les Miles owned Alabama and Nick Saban until 2011 after that game of the century. And where it is, Nick Saban said, I'm not losing another damn game to Les Miles. Not doing it. And he didn't. Won the 2012 national championship in the Superdome in the big rematch. One of the players came out this week and said, what Tommy Moffitt made us do was run snakes. You know what snakes is, Marty? Running it up Tiger Stadium. Like that. Running up this one, down this one, down this one, up this one, down this one, up this one, down this one. That's snakes. That's what he did. Tommy Moffitt did that. He got their team ready, bro. Their team wasn't bored and wasn't tired at the end of the game like other teams were. They were exhausted. Not letting Brian Kelly out now. Brian probably would have been maybe booed. I don't know. And the pending lawsuit. But that was a bad PR move again. That's the third bad PR move for LSU right there. Not letting him out. Made national TV. That really was stupid. And then another one has come out yesterday. Because LSU is dragging this out that they just officially fired Brian Kelly. It was on ESPN yesterday that Brian Kelly's hurting him to go get another job, and he's contemplating on filing another lawsuit. He's thinking about filing another lawsuit. And this made national news again. That's at least 4 bad PR moves for LSU. How much more can this be? How much more can this be? And the fifth one's going to be this. And Jonathan thinks so. I'm going to get to Jonathan in a minute. But if Lane Kiffin does spurn LSU and say, no, I'm not coming, and he stays at Ole Miss or goes to Florida, LSU, it's going to be a while for LSU to recover. It's going to be a while for LSU to recover. So let's take a look at Lane Kiffin's recruiting. Is Lane Kiffin a good recruiter? Yes and no. Let's find out. In 2009, when he was at Tennessee, he had the 8th best recruiting class. They finished 7-6. He bolted, went to USC. Bigger job. Okay. 2010 at USC, they were number 3 his first year. They finished 8-5. 2011, USC, number 3 in recruiting. He finished 10-2 that year, but they didn't go to any any bowl games or anything like that because of the Reggie Bush Heisman scandal. 2012 USC, they finished number 8 in recruiting. They went 7-6. In 2013, they finished 13th in recruiting. He went 3-2 and was fired on the tarmac after 5 games. They didn't let him get back on the bus. You're fired, Lane. You're fired. They had enough of his shenanigans. You're gone. You're gone. 2017, he got back into coaching as a head coach because he went to Alabama. You know that. Florida Atlantic, number 60. Okay, they're not going to be big time in Florida Atlantic, I know. Number 60 in recruiting. They finished 11-3 and won the championship. 2018 at FAU, 75th. They finished 5-7 that year. At LSU, he'd have been fired. 5-7 at Florida Atlantic in a very weak conference. 2019 at FAU, 61st. They went 10-3. He won another championship. Conference USA championship twice. 2020 at Ole Miss, number 35. 2021, number 17. 2022, number 27. 2023, number 23. 2024, number 21. Now, this year so far in 2025, they have the 16th best recruiting class. 16. LSU has the number 10 recruiting class right now with no coach. You see what I'm getting at? The best he's done at Ole Miss is 17th. 17th. Not great recruiter. USC was pretty good, but again got fired on the tarmac. So, Jonathan, I know that you know now that I'm not a Brian Kelly fan, but I just think they reacted too fast. You cannot give a guy 3 3/4 of a year to turn a program around that quick. Because I think he could have done it. He's a good coach. You can hear it in the press conferences. He knows exactly what he's talking about. I mean, he sounds like a very smart football coach. A very smart football coach. Yes, he was a jerk, I hear, and I understand that. But again, I don't think that they should have fired him. I think they reacted too soon. I think they jumped the gun too soon, and that's exactly what that guy said in that post. I agree with it. A lot of the media are going with the fans. They're so fan-driven. They want Lane Kiffin. And am I seeing something wrong here that Lane Kiffin is better than Brian Kelly? Because if you're firing Brian Kelly, that means you've got somebody better. And I don't think Lane Kiffin's better than Brian Kelly. Am I wrong, Jonathan?
Well, it remains to be seen, in my opinion, Chris. Of course, Brian Kelly had a national championship count of 0. So if Lane Kiffin does get to that mountaintop, and if it is LSU, I absolutely will put Lane Kiffin above Brian Kelly. One thing that Lane Kiffin absolutely has going for him over Brian Kelly is that he's likable. He shows humility. He makes fun of himself on the internet. Brian Kelly, the reason that Southern hospitality, in my opinion, exists in the South is because people are willing to put others above themselves. They want to treat you better than they're being treated because that's their choice. They want to behave that way. And that just was not Brian Kelly's mentality from the press conferences, post-game, how he handled it with reporters. A very confident man that earned that confidence through decades worth of being a successful head football coach in major college football. I think there's almost a riot mentality when it comes to the public that, we're being told as fans that, Lane Kiffin is, the mostly the highest sought after coach in the land right now. His team is doing obviously very well, has a chance to go 11-1. But the media around him just seems to be stronger than the performance on the field. I don't want to take credit away from these players because they're the ones truly getting the shaft. These players at Ole Miss that have given absolutely everything, the best season Ole Miss has had in my lifetime, and they can't even fully enjoy it because they have to field all these questions about their coach. And we did Tigers Roar earlier today. We had some Lane Kiffin press conference from this past Monday on the show, and he had to dodge 3-4 questions, even though they immediately said, look, we're only talking about this season. We're only going to take questions about the Egg Bowl, Mississippi State, or what's going on with these players. And, of course, everyone in Oxford wants to know, Lane, are you going to leave us? I mean, after we've built you this truly a very cush gig. Let's just put it that way. Lane Kiffin has all the leverage right now with his agent, Mr. Sexton. And, yeah, I agree. If LSU does get, left holding the bag in the middle of the night, I think they earned it. Truly, the coaching search has been very narrow according to the public perception. They've only gone after Lane Kiffin, according to reports. And, look, Florida isn't doing that. They've interviewed multiple coaches publicly. The way Lane Kiffin answered the questions on Monday does lead me to lean that he is coming to LSU. And at first, to be honest, I didn't really want Lane Kiffin, but I was an athlete, and the competitor in me, everybody wants this coach. Of course, I want our team to get him just because everybody wants him. But that seems to be the public perception. That seems to be the psychology of the riot. And, look, it was a perfect storm of Coach Brian Kelly. He wasn't likable. His team has struggled. They finally get over the schneid of losing the season opener year after year after year. Then they fall to Ole Miss. The wheels kind of fall off. Then you get that Texas A&M game where they absolutely gave up on Coach Brian Kelly. Harold Perkins is one of the best players in college football. That man barely moved against Texas A&M. That's not all coaching. Okay, the players absolutely had some role to play in this, but But there was no coming back for Brian Kelly. If they fired him that night, if they fired him later on this year, his time, his respect, his legacy at LSU was finished, in my opinion. Just watching that team give up, leave the field before the alma mater, get embarrassed, come back out. Brian Kelly's arguing with Virgil Arsbury about the Texas A&M fans being in the student section at LSU. That cannot happen at Tiger Stadium. The brand is the brand. That is the draw for these recruits to come to LSU, to play in that coliseum of football, and it just simply was not living up to the expectation. The 10-year contract I thought was a problem. I wouldn't trust any person to be in charge of 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, then throw in NIL, then throw in revenue sharing. It's just – and here's the thing. What I do think that Lane Kiffin is better than Brian Kelly at is building that mercenary squad. He's had lots of practice with it. The last 5 to 6 years, he has built a new team almost every year through the portal, and I think that is the trend that college football is going towards. And if you're given a guaranteed $25 million from NIL on top of the revenue sharing, we're talking about close to $40 million a year that LSU is ready to support the football program with. And I am curious to what Lane Kiffin could do with $40 million.
Yeah,
I truly am.
The only problem for me on that deal is that he can build a team every year, and he does it. Now, I said about the recruiting, but on the transfer portal, he's been number 1 2 years in a row. Last year and the year before. Brian Kelly was number 1 the previous year. But it hadn't worked.
Yep.
It hadn't worked yet. That's the only thing. And that's what Heather Ditterich said, same thing. Am I missing something? And I feel the same way. Now, look, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong as hell on this. I hope that he gets in there and dominates and win a national title. I do. I hope he does. I just don't think I am. I don't think I am. And I don't know. I may change my mind. But I'm telling you, I'm really, and this could blow up in LSU's face in either way.
Yep.
If he doesn't accept it, or if he does accept it and he does worse than Brian Kelly did. I don't know. Again, and like I said, Brian Kelly did make mistakes, there's no doubt. And as far as that A&M game goes, I hate to put it on one game.
Right.
Because of the fact that I know that sometimes it just doesn't work and people get blown out, and it sucks.
Yep.
Alabama losing to Clemson in the national championships games. It happens and it sucks, but at the same time, it's just one game. And them leaving and not doing the alma mater because they were mad. They were fed up that they lost. I don't know if he totally lost the locker room. I don't know. I did see some players kicking rocks like they've said and all this stuff. I don't know. Nobody knows the truth. Nobody knows what happened in that national championship 2012 Superdome locker room. There's been speculation by several people, but players say it didn't happen because that's a code that they go through. I don't know.
I'm going to ask you something, Chris. I know you saw the senior day moment where Brian Kelly's son came out.
Yep.
Of course, he wasn't with his dad, but had BK on his shirt, and he said, "Free my boy, BK. Free my boy, BK." What?
Yeah,
not like dad, but free my boy, BK. A strange dynamic to me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, who says that about their dad?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's the kind of relationship they had. I don't know, but I think that was a PR wrong move for LSU.
Yeah.
But anyway, and I can say right now, LSU's had a lot of PR bad moves, but we'll see what happens. Southern University will probably announce their new coach also this week. And the reason we have to, LSU and Southern, is because of the National Signing Day in December. Not next week, but the week after. They got to do recruiting now, so they got to be able to sign people now. I don't agree with that. I think the recruiting should be moved back to February where it should belong. Every sport does that. They do not do it during the season. Like NFL does it well after. Major League Baseball does it in the season. NBA does it, but it don't mess the things up. Right now, college football is such a wreck, and how it's still working, I have no idea. Will it eventually come off the rails? I don't know. We'll talk about Southern University next as we continue talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan in the house, Marty's in the house, from our new digs back after this time out on Pelican Sports TV.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton & Fouget. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fruget today.
For a lot of people, going to the dentist brings anxiety. It can feel cold, rushed, even intimidating. We get it. That's why we built something different. We take the time, we listen, we know your name and your story, because you're more than just a patient, you're family. You don't have to dread the dentist. You just need the right one. Call or visit FrugetFamilyDentistry.com to schedule.
The holidays are fast approaching, and the Livingston Tourism Office wants to let you know what's going on for the holidays. The lighting of the City Hall in Denham Springs is on Friday, November 28th, and the Christmas Open House is on the next day on Saturday, November 29th in Denham Springs, as small businesses open their doors for you to get that perfect gift. And that kicks off Christmas in Denham Springs Village until December 20th. The merriest smile of the Livingston Parish Fairgrounds from November 28th to December 31st, as you drive through synchronized lights that dance to music. Tickets and info available at themerriestmile.com. December 4th, it's the 24th annual Chef's Evening and Wine Tasting event from 7 until 9 p.m. in the Denham Springs Antique Village. 21 local restaurants and a wide variety of wines for you to choose from. For all these and more events, visit LivingstonTourism.com. That's LivingstonTourism.com. Make a fun run to Livingston Parish now.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. As we're talking sports with me, Chris Powers, the rumor was coming through. Is Marshall Faulk coming to Southern University? Think about that. Could be two big press conferences this week. Lane Kiffin to LSU, Marshall Faulk to Southern. Baton Rouge would be the epicenter of college football for a little while. Now, he could bring a lot of NFL influence to Southern if he does come. Now, I'm the play-by-play guy, but I don't know any inside information on this. I did know that they were talking, and now it's out in national media all over the place. HBCU magazines have had it and all of that stuff. Of course, here in Baton Rouge, they've had it and all that. Could be a lot of money raised for players and facilities with him. I don't know how good of a personality he is. I've never met him. I've seen him play. I've never met him. He can bring in great talent to play for a Hall of Famer, an NFL Hall of Famer. I mean, they might want to stay and play for him and want to come to play for him. I don't know. Now, for all the people let's look at the players from the NFL that are coaching. Eddie George was at Tennessee State. Never got support from the fans. Never got fans coming up and saying, okay, we want to play for Eddie George. So he left. He's gone. Then you've got Michael Vick. Michael Vick has got the same record as Southern does. Not a very good record. Deshaun Jackson has a pretty good record. Deion Sanders, obviously, everyone went nuts at what Deion did. Deion's a better showman than he is a coach. He's a better recruiter, meaning that not that he's going to go out because he doesn't go meet families. He ain't doing that. It's by his name is how he gets that, because that's how Deion is. He's flashy. He always has to have the attention. Not everybody can beat Deion Sanders. He's not a good coach. We're seeing that at Colorado. He's not a good coach. And will they give him another year? I don't know. But he's not bringing in unbelievable recruits. He's not. He got lucky with the three that he had, Shadur, and then, of course, Shadur's brother. And then Shiloh is now out of the NFL because of his attitude. He got free agent signing at Tampa Bay. So will he bring in a lot of media attention? I don't know. How long will Faulk be here, too? Let's say Faulk does come and he's successful. After 2 years, he's going to do what Deion done. He's going to go to college like on the level of Colorado and try to build from there, and then go to a bigger college if he can build that Colorado job. Or if it doesn't work, he could be another Stump Mitchell. Be gone in 2 or 3 years, he's out and we're back to square one. Will the Jaguar Nation accept him? Now, he's been an assistant coach 1 year at Colorado as a running back coach under Deion Sanders. 1 year. Can he be a good head coach? Will the Jaguar Nation accept him? I think overall they probably will because of his name. Will they be excited? And he's a Louisiana kid. Southern this year is facing historic lows like we've never seen before, ever. Ever. So, will this work? I don't know. 52nd Annual Bayou Classic is this weekend. Records are thrown out of the window. That's what the head coach, Mickey Joseph, said yesterday in the press conference at the Superdome. Coming into this game, Southern leads the overall record 42-34, but in the Bayou Classic they lead 27-24 and on a 3-game winning streak, and they've won 6 out of the last 10. Couple of quick hits. It's the 77th time they're going to play since 1932 is when they first met. 49th game of the Superdome. Jaguars offense has to improve under head coach McNair even more, but they have improved by about 13 points per game and 66 yards per game on total offense. But they're still 0-4 because their defense is not doing fundamental tackling. They're not doing fundamental tackling. And don't tell me that Henry Miller's not a good coach. Every year he's been the defensive coordinator. Their team has finished in the top 20 every year. This year has just been bad. Why? Because their offense couldn't do it at the beginning of the season and the defense is wore out? I don't know. Nobody knows. All they know is they're trying to go for the football too much. Could be a big factor. The last game for defensive end Kelby Givens. Oh, my goodness. Could be one of the most decorated players in Southern University history. Leads the SWAC in sacks, 4th in the country in sacks, and is 4th in tackles for losses in the country, and he is number 1 in the SWAC in tackles for losses. Hate to see him go. Tigers defense is led by former Southern coach Rollins. Jason Rollins is there, and he's got this defense playing okay. They're number 3 totally, which is good in the SWAC. Now, nationally, they're not going to kill you on national numbers. They're not going to kill you. I'll give you some examples. Defensive scoring, they're 6th in the SWAC, 59th in the country. Total defense, they're 3rd in the SWAC, and they're 29th in the country. That's not bad. But still, they're not a great defense. Defense against the run, they're number 3 in the conference, but 38th in the SWAC. In the nation. And in defense versus the pass, they're 4th in the SWAC, but they're 39th in the nation. Those are numbers that are not going to just, oh, my God, you. But here's what they do. Sacks by the defense, 31 sacks this year. That is way more than any other team in the SWAC. 31 sacks. That means they're blitzing, whether it's their 2 defensive ends that have come out or it's their cornerback or safety blitz, or it could be even linebacker delayed blitz. I haven't watched them as much on film that I want to. That I'll watch a little bit more as we get closer to the game. But they've sacked their butt off. 31 sacks this year. That puts them at 13th in the nation. That's the best thing they do is sack the quarterback. And Southern has a susceptible offensive line. We've given up. We're 6th in the SWAC at giving up sacks. We've given up 15 sacks for 66 yards. Not a lot, but 15 sacks. These guys are coming after you. 31 sacks on the year. 31. That's pretty impressive. Both teams turn the ball over a lot, too. Southern has turned the ball over 17 times. Grambling has turned the ball over 20 times. And Grambling hadn't beaten Southern in the Bayou Classic since 2021 when Jason Rollins was the head coach, interim head coach at Southern, and now he's the defensive coordinator at Grambling. Crazy. Crazy the way that works out. And the last time that Grambling beat Southern in the Bayou Classic was 2021 when former Southern head coach Terrence Graves was the interim coach at Grambling. And the next year he comes to Southern and becomes their defensive line and assistant coach and special teams coach. Then eventually he got into the interim head coach in 23 and won that game and then won last year's game. That's why Southern's on a 3-game win streak. Crazy, isn't it? Former quarterback Xavier Tissette from Baton Rouge, former transfer from Southern to Grambling, will not play in this game. He got carried out in an ambulance against Jackson State in Las Vegas. He won't play in this game. I know he wanted to play in this game. He wanted to really show Southern what he's really capable of doing, but he won't play in this game. So that's what's going on at Southern. We could have a big news next week on their new head coach. All right, Saints can't handle the blitz. Jonathan, you can't handle the truth. We'll have all that coming up right here with Talk Saints. And a big move today. Breaking news. We'll talk about it next year as we continue to talk sports with me, Chris Powers. Jonathan, Marty's in the house back after this right here on the Pelican Sports TV.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
The holidays are fast approaching, and the Livingston Tourism Office wants to let you know what's going on for the holidays. The lighting of the City Hall in Denham Springs is on Friday, November 28th, and the Christmas Open House is on the next day on Saturday, November 29th in Denham Springs, as small businesses open their doors for you to get that perfect gift. And that kicks off Christmas in Denham Springs Village until December 20th. The merriest smile of the Livingston Parish Fairgrounds from November 28th to December 31st, as you drive through synchronized lights that dance to music. Tickets and info available at themerriestmile.com. December 4th, it's the 24th annual Chef's Evening and Wine Tasting event from 7 until 9 p.m. in the Denham Springs Antique Village. 21 local restaurants and a wide variety of wines for you to choose from. For all these and more events, visit livingstontourism.com. That's livingstontourism.com. Make a fun run to Livingston Parish now.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouget. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouget today.
All right, welcome back, everybody, and we get to now talk about the Saints. And Blake Grupe is a joke. Now, when Mickey Loomis traded Lutz to Denver and kept Grupe, I was on that like white on rice. I said that was a dumb move. That was stupid. I prefer Lutz. Not that Lutz was Morton Anderson or anything, but he was a lot better than this guy. And then he had a good year, and I thought, well, maybe I was wrong. Then he got hurt the next year. Missed a few field goals, but gotten better towards the end. And this year, he has absolutely struggled. The fans booed him. Well, now Grupe is done. He's gone. They cut him today. He's gone. Justin Tucker comes in yesterday. I wanted Justin Tucker. I know what happened with the massage, stuff. So he was suspended for the first 10 games of the year. That suspension's gone now. It's over. But he only hit 70. I mean, this guy was unbelievable. I don't know, Jonathan, if you remember when they played the Saints.
Yep.
He missed his first field goal in quite a long time, and I remember his eyes were huge.
I believe it was the first extra point he missed in his whole career.
Yeah. I mean, was that in Baltimore or the Dome?
No, it was in a dome.
Okay. So he had no wind or anything.
No wind.
His eyes were that big. Couldn't believe it. But he had only 73% towards the end there. Could have been this problems that was going on. He knew it was coming out. I don't know. But he came in yesterday, and so did Cade York. And Cade York won the job. Cade York is a former LSU kicker that was big for their national championship run. The problem is, though, he went to Cleveland, then he went to Cincinnati. This year, he's been only a 73% kicker. He's not going to bring miracles here. He could be he's about the same as Grupe. Grupe was 73%. So I hope that Cade York does it and steals it and loves it and hopes it and just keeps it. Looks like they're going to sign him to the practice squad, and then eventually he'll be kicking this Sunday in Miami. So I don't know if Cade York's the answer. I hope he is. I hope he gets a job. I hope he stays with the job. Obviously, in this game, Saints struggled in the red zone. They're still struggling in the red zone. They've been struggling since Drew Brees has been gone. Derek Carr didn't have a good red zone. They struggle. They're good between the 20s, but horrible in the red zone. And that's where you got to, Kellen Moore, to me, if you're such an offensive guru, you got to come up with something better than this. You got to do something different to come up with it. To be at the 1 yard line twice and come up with nothing, and be in the goal situation, first and goal 3 times, and not come up with nothing, except a field goal, 3 points. Because Group A couldn't miss that. I could make that. Shuck looked okay, but didn't get the win. But he didn't look bad. Now, there's still things he's doing wrong. He's holding on to the ball too late. He's throwing to his receivers too late. And he's not on target. That pass to Juwan Johnson to dive for the football, it shouldn't have had to dive. If he would have thrown it on perfect, then Juwan Johnson could have got a first down. But the problem is, Jonathan, is getting me, is that these guys are not running past the first down marker.
Yep.
It's constantly passes behind the line or behind the first down marker, and that don't do you nothing. In the National Football League, these guys are pros. So if you see that over and time again, run past the first down marker, would you please? Stop making it. Now, they can't handle the blitz. Saints can't handle the blitz. They got killed this week on the blitz. Every team that they got killed by kills them on the blitz because Saints had this game. The Saints had this game won. They could have beat Atlanta. There's no doubt in my mind they could have beat Atlanta. They beat themselves on this one. The bad snap over Taysom Hill's head, are you kidding me? I'd have kicked that guy right in the behind. Alvin Kamara gets a knee injury in this game. And then now there's the Times-Picayune of the NOLA.com comes out and says they don't think that Alvin Kamara has a good value like he used to. How many times I've been saying that, Jonathan? How many times I've been on this show saying
they probably tune in, Chris.
I want to keep Kamara because I still think he's an offensive threat, but he's not a true running back. If you thought that for years, you're nuts. He hadn't gotten 1,000 yards. He's not, but he's still a great threat, a good screen guy, a good guy that you put with another running back, and you either option it to him, whatever, or RPO, whatever, and he can do it. But he's not a traditional. When they put him down on 3rd down and 1s, Jonathan, I want to beat the screen. I want to beat the television screen every damn time they do that. Yeah. He's not a 3rd down and 1 back.
We don't have one. The Saints don't have one.
They don't.
No.
In last week, some fans were saying, and media picked up on it, hey, the Saints could win out and go to the playoffs. Oh, my God. Where's Buddy D when we need him?
Playoffs.
Raking leaves out of the tree. The Saints have problems and they don't know how to fix it. Gail Benson, and you love her to death. I do too. She's great for the community. But she said in an article with Duncan from NOLA.com that Mickey's just having a bad year.
He's done an outstanding job.
Has she been in a coma for the last 4 years? Because this is the 5th year we won't make the playoffs. 5 years. Not 1. 5 years. And it's obvious, I put it on this show before, the track record with Mickey Loomis without Sean Payton and Drew Brees. So, Jonathan, what are your thoughts about the Saints and that debacle on Sunday?
Fortunately, I was actually fishing for a lot of the first half when I came back. So the score was, reasonable. Obviously heard about Blake Groupie, and, it's a shame it didn't work out here, but I think he's a talented kicker. I was hoping Taylor Russolino would get a look from the Saints. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but Cade York, a serviceable guy, obviously LSU guy. So looking forward to seeing him as a Saint. Where could you even start with this team? I don't put it on the quarterback. I thought he played outstanding against the Panthers. He played okay against the Falcons. It's tough for rookies to be that consistent, and that's what I was telling everybody the whole week. I would be pleasantly surprised if the Saints competed. And look, if Blake Groupie makes those 2 field goals, it might be a different game. You never know. Unfortunately, the offensive line can't protect. It hasn't changed since Derek Carr was here. Spencer Rattler faced some of the same stuff. But I'll give this to Tyler Shuck. He does not his pocket poise is not one of a normal rookie. I know he's an older guy coming out as a rookie, but the way he climbs the pocket and keeps his eyes downfield, I see a lot of talent, a lot of promise in Tyler Shuck. Getting to Miss Gail Benson, who I do believe is a very sweet woman, so I'm not going to talk bad about it, but I did see the article with Jeff Duncan in Times-Picayune, and I couldn't help but chuckle. I can't agree that Nikki Loomis has done a great job. Hopefully, the Saints can turn this top 5 draft pick coming up here next April and trade that into a lot more picks and then rebolster your offense and your defense with young talent that's on inexpensive contracts. That's the only way to get out of this whole Saints and so much dead money. It's a cemetery over there. But yeah, I completely agree. The red zone has been awful for Kellen Moore so far this year. You get within inside the 2-yard line, you give it to Taysom Hill twice, he gets stuffed. That was the saddest part of the game that I saw, Chris, was to see Taysom Hill can no longer truck that first guy. And that was the best part about him. He would make the first guy miss by absolutely running through his face, and he just can't do it anymore. And he's getting older. He got hurt last year, coming off an injury, missed a bunch of time this year, so never really worked back into football shape. But unfortunately, I think the tread on the tire is just too thin right now for Taysom Hill.
Yeah, no doubt. You're seeing the last of him as a Saints uniform. Demario Davis, I think, has a chance to come back next year. Again, just depends on if they want to cut ties with him and how much money he's going to want. I don't know if he wants to stay in New Orleans or something like that. But I think Taysom Hill, I think somebody will pick him up, probably a Sean Payton.
Yeah, Denver.
Yeah, but other than that, I think he's done. All right, when we come back, we'll wrap things up. We've got our pick'em and a couple more things coming up as we continue to talk sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan, and Marty's in the house back after this timeout. The holidays are fast approaching, and the Livingston Tourism Office wants to let you know what's going on for the holidays. The lighting of the City Hall in Denham Springs is on Friday, November 28th, and the Christmas Open House is on the next day on Saturday, November 29th in Denham Springs, as small businesses open their doors for you to get that perfect gift. And that kicks off Christmas in Denham Springs Village until December 20th. The merriest smile of the Livingston Parish Fairgrounds from November 28th to December 31st, as you drive through synchronized lights that dance to music. Tickets and info available at themerriestmile.com. December 4th, it's the 24th annual Chef's Evening and Wine Tasting event from 7 until 9 p.m. in the Denham Springs Antique Village. 21 local restaurants and a wide variety of wines for you to choose from. For all these and more events, visit LivingstonTourism.com. That's LivingstonTourism.com. Make a fun run to Livingston Parish now.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouget. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouget today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. All right, as we get down to it, pick 'em time. Let's go. I am 30-10. Jonathan, you're 26-14. Do we have a shot in Vegas, you think?
Yeah, they'll take my money, Chris. No problem. Yeah, they'll take it.
All right, here we go. LSU at number 8, Oklahoma. Not only Oklahoma's a better football team right now, LSU's offense is horrible. Oklahoma has one of the best defenses in the country, not only the SEC, but LSU's got a long injury list this week. Yep. I got Oklahoma all the way.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have Oklahoma by 3 scores against LSU this weekend, Chris.
Number 4, Georgia is at number 6, Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech made a major mistake, but they want the money. Just like all these colleges can't get enough money. Jonathan, if I was them, I'd have kept this game at Georgia Tech. That would have limited the amount of Georgia Bulldog fans that have been in attendance. But now instead they move it to the big dome.
Yep.
Mercedes-Benz Dome. That's stupid. I would have kept it at Georgia Tech, gave less of a chance for Georgia fans to be there, but now there'll be more Georgia fans than Georgia Tech fans. They made a mistake. Georgia wins this game easily anyway.
Yeah, Georgia, looking at one of the strongest teams in the country right now. Georgia State had a great year. You hate for it to end like this in the last game of the regular season, but, yeah, I'm taking Georgia big in that one too.
Number 3, Texas Longhorns against number 3, Texas A&M Aggies hosting number 17, Texas Longhorns. Believe it or not, I'm wanting to put Texas A&M in this win. I mean, Texas in this win. I
Yeah.
really kind of do.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Texas A&M winning this game here.
I'm in the same boat, Chris. I think Arch Manning really has come on strong in the second half of this season. You saw it last week. He had a touchdown catch, very athletic play. Some people started talking to him being in the Heisman conversation, Chris. I showed you how drastically improved this offense for the Texas Longhorns has been over the last 6-7 games. Look, the first half 2 weeks ago for Texas A&M, Marcel Reed absolutely stunk up the place. But second half, he lit it on fire. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. It's going to be a great duel between Manning and Reed. But give me Coach Mike Elko to finish the job, go undefeated in the regular season, and make a strong push to the playoffs. I'll take the Aggies.
All right, number 1, Ohio State, and number 18, Michigan. Will this streak come to an end? I say yes. Ohio State wins the game.
Yeah, we're lockstep this week, Chris. It's hard for me to ever pull it for Michigan. Not that I'm a huge Ohio State fan, but I think Ohio State gets off the schneid, and Dave Portnoy could eat crow for a little bit on that whatever he's doing for the Big Ten these days, wearing his Michigan stuff all over the set. I thought he was supposed to be non-biased to be a broadcast, but that guy's an entertainer. But give me Ohio State over Michigan.
If Vanderbilt was playing at home, I'd pick Vanderbilt over Tennessee. But at Tennessee, Tennessee looked good against the Florida Gators. I got to go with Tennessee. I know Vanderbilt's look good, but I think Tennessee wins this game at Old Rocky Top.
I like it. I'll take Vanderbilt, so we have some disparagement between our picks. So I'll take Vandy against Tennessee. Big rivalry. I know a lot of fans out there towards Nashville area juiced up for this one, so it's going to be a great game, but give me Vanderbilt.
New Orleans is at Miami. The Saints could possibly do it. Miami's looked a little bit better in the last couple of deals. I'm going to go with Miami Dolphins at home in Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah, without Alvin Kamara, even at his older age, Saints had a really hard time running the football. Taysom Hill, we talked about, not a lot of tread left on the tires. Devin Neal has been impressive, but the small-bodied rookie still finding his way through the line. So give me the Dolphins against the Saints in what's been a horrible, horrible year for South Louisiana football fans.
No question about that. SEC championship scenarios. A&M wins, they're in the SEC championship. If Alabama wins, they're in the SEC championship simply because they beat the Georgia Bulldogs. If there's a three-way tie, I understand Georgia wins on the three-way tie. Ole Miss has a very little chance of making the SEC championship game. Last shot for the Pelicans. They got to get it right with Joe Dumars. If they don't get it right in the next couple of years with Joe Dumars, they never will. They're 3-15. They did win last night, ending a 9-game losing skid. Or was I wrong on Shedeur Sanders? Right now it seems to be maybe so. I don't know.
Come on.
His heart maybe driving. I don't know. I just don't know. Right now I'm still not sold on him. I've seen him play college football. I'm not sold on him. Jamar Chase is sorry for spitting. You should have been sorry also for lying. You lied, and I think that tremendously hurts his image big time with a lot of people, and not only his image on the marketing side, his image is really hurt on this. Not only did he spit on a guy, but he lied to it, and then an apology letter never mentioned the player he spit on. Never. I think that's stupid. LSU soccer lost to Vanderbilt, ending their big dream season, their biggest run for the NCAA tournament. They lost that game. Jimmy Graham retires as a Saint. He had emotional when he talked to Drew Brees. Drew Brees still has work to do on broadcasting. And speaking of Brees, Jahari Evans, Eli Manning, and Reggie Wayne all make the semifinals for the Hall of Fame. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Until then, I'm Chris Powers, along for Jonathan and Marty. So long, everybody.
Rocks and fires. Tommy White with it. Johnson heads to the